Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another apartment renovation. So today I am back renovating another eco lifestyle apartment. This one is located, I believe, in the Pinecrest apartment building, but I'm not exactly sure. But as always, you can look in the top left hand side of the screen to see the address, so if you want to place it in your game, that's where it goes. So for this apartment, I was heavily inspired by some pictures that I've been looking at on Pinterest of vintage interiors between the 1950s to like the 1970s, so basically like mid-century style interiors, and they're so cool. And I thought it would be nice to bring that look to an apartment, and we have tons of objects in game, both from the Get Famous expansion pack and then also the bowling stuff pack, and even most recently from the eco lifestyle pack. There's a few things that I thought kind of suited this style as well, but mostly the other two that I mentioned are heavily used in this apartment, and I absolutely love it. It was so much fun to build and decorate this apartment. Well, not really build, do the floor plan and then decorate it. The floor plan is actually very similar to one that I've used before, and I really like it. I think it's a good layout for this apartment, and I like the placement of the windows and everything, because it's always a big struggle when it comes to doing apartments, whether they're from eco lifestyle or the city living apartments. You can't change the exterior windows. You can, I believe, with the tool mod, and that is not something I've tried with the tool mod before. So I need to re-download that because I don't have the newest version anymore. And there's so many more options than the last time I used it. So I really need to download it again and play around with it and see the different things that I can basically do with that mod, because it's super cool and very handy. But either way, here you can see I'm starting off by decorating the living room. I looked at tons of images of just living rooms and trying to get that feel that I was going for. And I also took inspiration from like my childhood, because I grew up in a home that was built in the 70s. So it had a ton of these like features, like wood paneling on the walls and like pretty interesting carpet. And my parents, of course, had some old furniture. Most of it was like 80s and 90s furniture, but I think some of it was left over from the decades before. But so I thought about that, and then also, of course, the pictures that I was looking at, and tons of things that I saw were like the built-in features where I put the TV, and I sized up the eco lifestyle TV to be a little bit bigger because I found it a bit small for the space where I wanted to use it. So I just sized it up slightly. Oh, and the rug that I used in the living room, I was so excited to use, because we've had it since Strangerville. I'm pretty sure that's the pack that it came with. And I honestly have not gotten like the chance to use that swatch before. I've used, I think, every single other swatch at least once, I believe. Some of them definitely more than once, but I was so excited to finally get the opportunity to use that rug, because it's perfect in my opinion for this style. And then over here is the dining room. So you actually walk into the dining room in this build, which is something I don't typically try to do with my floor plans. Usually I try to have my Sims either walk into a proper entryway or like the living room, because I just think it usually makes the most sense. But for this floor plan, I think it actually works pretty nicely. And the table is from Get Famous, but the chairs are from Eco Lifestyle, and the chairs are perfect. They are so good for this style. I absolutely loved using them here. I've loved using them in other places in different builds that I've done, because I think they're just really nice chairs. But here, I think they really just made the dining room come together. So I was really happy about it. And then over here, I'm just decorating this shelf that came from Get Famous. It's in that mid-century style, so it was absolutely perfect. And then over here is going to be the kitchen. The kitchen I kind of struggled with a little bit. I mean, it didn't take me that long to figure it out, but at first I was like, what tile am I going to use? So I went through Pinterest and looked at tons of pictures of kitchens, and I honestly didn't see that many with tile. So I saw a few more with brick, but most of them had wood paneling, so I decided to use a combination between the wood paneling and some brick in the kitchen, and I think it actually worked pretty nicely. And then of course I had to go with a fun color for the stove and the refrigerator, because that's very typical of that time period to have just more vibrant colors, I guess you could say, than you probably would see nowadays. Nowadays you would probably see like white or stainless steel or maybe like black or something along those lines, and not necessarily a teal stove or refrigerator. So I thought that was pretty fun to do in here. And then other than that, I just wanted to clutter up the countertops with lots of different decorations to make it feel cluttered and lived in, like, you know, a family actually lives here, because that's something I always love to do and try to do in my builds, unless I'm doing a minimal build, which I think I've maybe done one ever. I think I did one tiny house that was minimal a very long time ago. I forget exactly what I called it, but it was so weird. I remember like trying to hold back from decorating it, and it was so strange. But yeah, typically I do try to add a lot of decorations. And but anyways, so the family that's living here, I pictured 2 children and 2 parents, and I honestly kind of slacked on their personalities. I don't know what is wrong with me. I think I'm just going through a phase. Maybe it has to do with my pregnancy. I don't know what it is, but something is kind of giving me like a mental block when it comes to planning sim stories for some reason. I mean, not that I ever really did like super elaborate stories. I mean, every once in a while I'll have one that I'm like, wow, I really thought about them. But I mean, typically I do have some sort of a story, but this time not so much. It was more about like just the interior design style and just looking at lots of references, trying to get the look and feel that I was going for. But I did decorate it for 4 Sims. You could have 3 Sims if you want to. And I did a kids room and a parents room. So the parents room, you could have 2 Sims in there. And then I did a kids room, and the kids room I thought was for a kid and a teenager, but you could easily have 2 kids in there. In the teenager side of the room, I added more sports related decorations. And then the kids side of the room, there's a kind of more random decorations, but I was thinking that they were more into like school and reading, and they're just kind of a bookworm, I guess. They're just more into that kind of stuff and reading, like they like reading novels and those types of things. So I guess I thought about them a little bit more than the rest of the family members, but that's pretty typical. But here you can see I'm starting to decorate their bedroom, and I quickly decorated the bathroom. The bathroom has a ton of clutter. It was kind of an interesting shape with where I placed like the shower and stuff. And so I decided just to go with it. Instead of putting the toilet in that little nook, I made a corner countertop with some shelves above it. And I just cluttered it up like crazy, just to add to that more like lived in feel and make it feel kind of a little bit messy, which I thought was fun. But anyways, so here in the kids room, like I said, there's 2 beds, and I imagined it would be for a teen and a child. And so I tried to pick decorations that suited both of those personalities, I guess, that I was going for. But like I said, I didn't think about it really in depth. I just tried to find items that suited the look and stuff that I was going for. And so, yeah, it was really fun to decorate this room. I thought these base game beds were pretty perfect actually for this style. They're not super mid-century, but they look like old enough. I feel like they can pass for almost any time period. But I thought they were actually really nice to use in this bedroom. So I was really happy about that. And then the dresser that I'm using, it came from Get Famous, and it's very mid-century. And so I thought that was really good too. And then other than that, I have this computer desk over here. The computer desk, I believe, came with University. Maybe. I might be getting that wrong because I'm not exactly sure. But I thought that was a really good desk to use in here. And then this is going to be the parents' room. So the parents' room is pretty simply decorated, but I did do something interesting with these wall panels that I was very proud about, because I've seen lots of people use them over like a whole wall like this before. Unfortunately, the bed does cause some shadowing on them, but it wasn't bad enough to make me change it. I still thought it looked pretty cool. So I decided to leave it alone. And then other than that, I just add the final few decorations, and then we're on to the screenshot. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please leave any comments or suggestions you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.